Antonio.
For a long time, Roy Jones Jr. dominated the professional ring. Becoming the world middleweight champion and then successfully moving through each weight division, going all the way to the top.
I know that I'm too powerful for Virgil here. I'm much too strong. I'm a big puncher. So I figured, why waste time boxing? If I box, that's what he wants to do. Don't box him, let's go get him.
Despite his success, he seemed to continually seek out new titles to conquer. Even in the heavyweight division, where he dreamed of a fight with Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, or Lennox Lewis, Jones owned the WBA belt. But the negotiations fell through. He refused to fight with Vitaly Klitschko himself, deciding instead to return to his usual light heavyweight. But Antonio Tarver already ruled there, and he had promised the whole world to dispel the myth of Jones' impeccable defense. In general, Tarver succeeded.
For the last 3 to 4 years, Roy Jones has handpicked every opponent ever stepped in the ring with him. He never bickered and argued when he had a less than stellar mandatory. But when Antonio Tarver became his mandatory, he made every excuse in the world.
He didn't beat nobody to get ranked in the top 10. He didn't beat nobody to beat number one contender.
Now, I can go on and on about the dead man he fought, but he claimed when I was number one, I wasn't worthy.
So come on now, let's be real about this thing. What are you trying to say, I'm ducking him or something?
I want you to protect yourself at all times, and what I say you must obey. Good luck, touch up.
Tarver at the same time has got to not give this man any respect. Stand your ground, believe you are the champion.
And now Tarver lands another left, goes twice to the body.
Doesn't start head hunting, stay right on that body.
Jones blocking shots with his arms, and he lands a counter right.
Stays on balance, does his punching, and gets right out of there.
Lands 2 more left hands right through the middle of Jones's guard.
Jones has been ready.
Roy Jones has been hit very hard by him. Tarver hasn't gotten off, and Jones is beginning.
Best body punches up in those middleweight.
However, the situation for Tarver during the fight was by no means perfect. Yes, he locked Jones in a corner several times and hit him with a series of blows. But until the 6th round, Tarver's coach, Buddy McGirt, was yelling, "Why are you showing so much respect for him? Don't play with him. Hit him, Antonio." Indeed, it was unusual to see Tarver, accustomed to acting forcefully, suddenly begin to play into Jones' clownery. Everything Antonio lost before the 7th round was lost by Tarver himself, and not won by Jones. By the 7th round of their first fight, the marks of Tarver's gloves were visible on Jones's face. Jones had never performed this poorly in the ring, even though he had been defeated before.
And we gotta work, baby. You gotta work. He can't take that pressure, Antonio. Water, please. Water, please. He can't take that pressure. You gotta walk to him, and you gotta punch. Okay? When he starts to flourish, just punch. Don't worry about power. We gotta score point.
Still don't want your back on the ropes. You're getting your back on the ropes. Keep your back to the center of the ring. Give me that towel, man.
Long, stubbornly, like a dinosaur, McGirt's words reached Tarver's mind. By this time, in Jones's corner, Coach Alton Merkerson began to shout, "Stop standing by the ropes. You're missing blows. Stay with your back to the center of the ring."
He's going to give it a shot.
I don't know that I've ever seen Jones look quite anything about it.
You know, the fight would definitely be there for Tarver to win. We need him big. That's big.
His opponent yields, gives up, recognizes he's not going to win. On this occasion, Jones has to come back in the late rounds, and he's doing it.
What a performance now by Jones. Reaching deep. Trying to find the greatness that he needs to hold off Antonio Tarver. Now the combinations begin to flow. Now Jones having trouble seeing out of that eye. Tarver in danger of punching himself out because he's doing what champions do.
I can't believe Roy Jones Jr. Can't believe it.
We've all wondered how Roy would react to it first.
Drives Jones back to the left. And as Jones goes to the right.
to have saved his record.
It later turned out that none of the judges awarded Tarver the victory, but many reputable experts gave the fight a draw, and Tarver can only blame himself for this. From the middle of the fight, every round was awarded to Roy Jones. Tarver was scoring points, but he allowed Jones to take away the victory, taking a break in the 11th round.
I'm here, baby. I love you, Tampa. I love you, Orlando. Pound for pound. I told you so.
To 112 for the winner by majority decision, and once again recognized as the universally accepted light heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr.
All right, let's go to Roy.
Great fight, champ. Thank you, man. Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
All right, Antonio Tarver, you gave a great effort. You ought to be congratulated, but obviously you're disappointed.
Oh yeah, I'm disappointed, and I gave more than a better than a great effort. I won this fight, and all I needed was an opportunity against the best fighter that you all say pound for pound the best. So I showed tonight where I measure up. I am the people's champion. There's a new face in boxing, and it's Antonio Tarver, the Magic Man. I proved to the world. Don't let your eyes fool you.
Tarver.
Don't listen to these commentators. You saw it for yourself. Antonio Tarver beat the man tonight, so that makes me the man.
After the first fight with Jones, Tarver shouted so persistently that he was robbed of victory, that it seemed like he would file a police report and bring the judges before a criminal court. However, Antonio got what he wanted. He immediately received the right to a rematch, and a serious split occurred in the boxing community. Too many professionals were fed up with Jones's fooling around. For long, he had sat at the top, not wanting to really box. He was condemned as often as he was cheered. The spectators did not like that he was inactive in the ring, avoiding the blows of his opponents and not seeking to attack. Thanks to his amazing reflexes, Jones was the king for a long time. But in the fight with Tarver, even if his reflexes did not disappear, they certainly stopped saving him. Jones blamed the weight cut as the reason for his poor performance. "I'm very tired because of it. That fight turned out to be difficult for me precisely because of the weight. I had to drop over 11 kilograms. Tarver remembered that excuse. Seconds before the start of their second bout, referee Jay Nady asked if the boxers had any questions. "Yes," Tarver replied. "I have a question."
I got a question. You got any excuses tonight, Roy? Let's not ask questions like that. Let's touch gloves and go to work. Tonight, Roy. Let's go to work.
Throw your punches, Antonio. And there were boos in the house during the first fight from time to time, and already Jones is much more active.
Jones has been very loyal to people who work for him and to his friends.
What excuse will you use today, Roy? There was no excuse. In the second round, Jones was on the floor of the ring for the first time in his career, and it was the knockout of the year, according to the Ring magazine.
Still to get a sustained attack against him.
And down goes Jones, and the hard will come, and that is the most that Roy Jones, and he makes it up. It's over. Jay Nady stops the fight, and Jones is still on Queer Street, and that's amazing. What a statement by Antonio Tarver. One big left-hand shot.
He said, what excuses do you have tonight, Roy? No excuses.
And now and his natural body style might give him the chance to do it. Let's go to Michael Buffer with the particulars on the knockout.
Did you see that he was vulnerable the way he was fighting you?
No, the man came out strong. He tried to dictate early, but I stayed confident, I stayed composed. And, I knew it was a matter of time. When God is with you, can nothing be against you. And I knew it was my time. Judge that. Judge that, baby. Judge that.
Roy, there's a first time for everything.
Yeah, you know how that goes there, and there's no excuses on my part. I come out, I do what I do. I've had an illustrious career. I've enjoyed what I've done. And
guys always are up to fight Roy Jones Jr. Roy Jones Jr. has a hard time getting up to fight guys, you know what I mean? Because it's really nobody out there that Roy Jones Jr. really feel that way about.
It is noteworthy that before their third fight, both boxers fought with Glenn Johnson, and both lost, even though the Jamaican had 9 defeats by that time and now has had 21. Despite this break, Tarver immediately took revenge.
And new light heavyweight champion of the world, Mr. Abracadabra, Antonio Magic Man Tarver.
Not knowing how to prepare for another meeting with Tarver, Jones decided to bring his father back to the coaching staff after a 12-year hiatus. He later repented of this decision and blamed his father for the failed fight with Tarver. According to Jones, he invited Roy Sr. to offer him advice during breaks, after which Alton Murkerson would determine the further fight strategy. Everyone should work as a team, but my father had a different opinion. He didn't want to be Murkerson's assistant. He wanted to lead the process himself. I saw it, but I kept doing what I was doing, Jones Jr. said. No matter what way you look at it, it sounds like a wild and ridiculous excuse, since the only thing Jones did in the ring was to avoid combat by walking along the ropes, except for a couple of the more active rounds. In the end, there were no people left in the hall who were rooting for him.
3 weeks ago that Roy Jones had incurred some damage to his right hand while in training camp, but
one thing Tarver said was very interesting in the meeting. They want to try to use his speed, do enough to win the fight. Don't even worry about a knockout. If it happens, it happens. But they're trying to win a decision.
Good combination by Jones in the center of the ring. Tarver, Jones's shots were blocked there. Now Tarver goes back to the jab, gets Jones into the corner, hits him with 2 big left hands. Jones takes his feet as if to say, oh, you didn't hurt.
Either bending his body to his left.
Jones trying to fight his way off the ropes for one of the first own advantages to work.
Now good right hand. That's the perfect right hand.
Again, you know what happens when he goes there, and there it is. Tarver landed the uppercut and the big left hand.
Yeah, they haven't made full contact, but Roy was rolling from those shots.
Whistles were heard against Jones. In the 11th round, he almost fell into a knockout after being hit by Tarver, when he staggered and hung on the ropes. Tarver made a monstrous swing, but the blow missed the target, and his momentum almost threw Antonio over the ropes and out of the ring.
Is momentarily stiffling. Tarver's got a chance, and he is second knockout of Roy Jones, and he pursues it here in the 11th round.
Well, Roy is dazed.
Tarver thinks he might be playing possum a little bit. That's why he backed off.
Antonio's leaving himself on him again because he's tired.
But suddenly wobbly-legged against Jones, and now he goes back to firing and snaps Jones' head up with an uppercut. This was almost a 10-8 round for Antonio Tarver.
As a result, Roy Jr., who was not inferior to anyone before meeting Tarver, suffered a 3rd defeat in a row. His era had ended in their first battle, and by the last, he was flying into the abyss.
And still universally recognized light heavyweight champion of the world, Antonio Magic Man Tarver.
He was later defeated by Joe Calzaghe, Danny Green, Bernard Hopkins, Dennis Lebedev, and Enzo Macarinelli. Jones would have left boxing without knowing any real defeats. Before fighting Tarver, he had lost only to Montel Griffin due to disqualification, but took revenge in the first round of their rematch. After beating Tarver, Jones made plans. I will have another mega cash heavyweight fight against Mike Tyson and put an end to it. In fact, his words were radically at odds with his deeds. Fate neither spared Tarver nor ended his career. After defeating Jones, he was defeated in his next fight by Bernard Hopkins. And later, Chad Dawson finally knocked Tarver out of the top 10. Even his appearance and victory over Sylvester Stallone in the movie Rocky Balboa could not improve his image. Please do not forget to like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to our channel so you won't miss any new episodes about the boxing legends of the past. See you next time.